I feel like I should give some sort of introduction. My name's Logan. I'm 18, and I just started college. It's a community college, and it's actually in the next town over from where I grew up. So to save on cash, I decided to keep living at home, though my mom works a lot, so I'm mostly left alone. I work a part-time job on campus, building sets on the stage. I should be happy, but I'm not. I don't know why. It's just a weird feeling in my gut. It's like something's just not right. And I think I know when it started too. But first, some context. When I was a kid, I used to really like dinosaurs. Even today, I still kind of do. I've always thought that they were big, strong, and powerful creatures. I collected just about everything that involved them. Toys, books, movies, you name it. So when I was allowed access to my grandparents' old computer, I collected video games. The majority of them were cartoon-styled educational games, but, they were still fun. But one of them was different, and I still remember it quite well to this day. It was a simple PC hunting game, wandering around and shooting whatever dinosaurs got in your way. And when I was young, I was always afraid of getting eaten by the more hostile dinosaurs, so I just never went after them, just the herbivores. There was also an observation mode where you could just wander around the map and the predators ignored you. I spent a lot of time when I was bored just wandering around in observation mode. I found out that the developers put in some neat little locations, gave them some backstories and everything. The one that was most interesting was the temple in the aptly named Ancient Temple area. I found it to be a good hiding place when I was brave enough to hunt after T-Rexes, since it can't seem to climb steep surfaces, and the majority of the temple was surrounded by high walls and lava. While I was hunting there, I heard a creepy voice. It creeped me out at first, but then I realized that it was part of the game. According to the lore of the game, the temple was a place where an ancient civilization worshipped some sort of velociraptor god. This interested me. I wondered if there was some secret way to summon this creature and maybe hunt it. I tried everything that I could think of, which went as far as using the raptor call in the middle of the temple. While nothing worked, I was always fascinated with the area. I was used to more complex games that usually would have a reason for an area like that. A purpose. And disappointed, though, I carried on. Eventually forgot about that game entirely. I knew there were 3 more games in the series, but I never played them. That was until recently. I just ended up reminiscing about the game and looked up a wikia for it. I had a thing for trivia, so I pretty much read the whole wikia, and to my surprise, the game had been released on mobile phones and the PSN. After a little more research, it turned out that there was a second and third game, the ones that I've been wanting to play. So naturally, I bought the games and downloaded them. Once that was done, I was a little disappointed to find out that only the iOS versions got updates, like new dinosaurs and such. But I was still happy to relive a bit of my childhood. When I started up the game, everything was normal, exactly how I remembered it. In fact, it was a few weeks before anything bizarre even happened. I was hunting in the Fort Siskin area, and by now I had unlocked the laser rifle and was wiping out entire islands. I had passed the Stonehenge area, and for a split second I saw a dark figure on the screen. From what I saw, it looked bipedal, maybe even about human-sized. I thought it was a glitch at first. I was playing the PSP version, and it was prone to be a bit buggy. But then I heard a voice. I instantly recognized it as the one from the temple in the first game. But this was a port of the second. It shouldn't be here. Maybe the second game was built on top of the first game's data and was just accidentally left in, I figured. Maybe it was left in as a joke or something. I didn't think much of it until I heard it again. I looked around in-game and saw that same figure as well. I don't think it was a glitch anymore. It's too obvious. After it happened a third time, I tried to catch the figure, and I realized that it was leading me somewhere. I followed it to the titular Fort Siskin, where the screen faded to black, and a cutscene played. I knew this couldn't be normal. These games didn't have cutscenes, and I've been to this location before, and this didn't happen before. Though there wasn't anything too weird about the cutscene itself, it used the game's normal, dated graphics. It showed several people with guns gathered around the closed gate of the fort, as something smashed into it from the other side. The T-Rex's roar heard from the other side until its head burst through the wall, roaring at the people inside, who started to shoot at the dinosaur. It pulled its head back and smashed into the gate, throwing it open. As the dinosaur charged in, the people ran, screaming, but there was no escape. The T-Rex rampaged through the fort, stepping on people and eating others. It wasn't like it was extremely violent or anything, nothing you wouldn't see in a normal game these days. In fact, normal games might be more violent than this. What little blood there was had been pixelated and a little silly. But I was still baffled that I was actually seeing a cutscene, as the camera panned to the open gate where I saw that figure again, vaguely outlined against the darkened backdrop by a white glow, followed by the temple voice before my character was suddenly killed, eaten by a raptor. And unlike normal, the surrounding area was all black, and instead of the usual, "You died, would you like to restart?" message box, I got a message box that read, "Keep hunting," with no options. I pushed all the buttons on my controller, and nothing happened. Just the animation of the raptor eating the hunter. I stared at it and realized that I wasn't hunting raptors, and that the PSP version doesn't spawn dinosaurs that you aren't hunting. After a moment, the screen faded to black and returned me to the start screen. I went back to Fort Siskin and tried to get the cutscene to play again, but I couldn't get it to work. Tired, I turned the game off and went to bed. And as I was drifting off to sleep, I could have sworn that I heard that temple voice again. But I could have been imagining it. I sometimes get nighttime paranoia when I sleep. I scare myself easily. And when I woke up the next morning, I didn't feel so well. I wasn't that well rested, and I was a little on edge. Figuring that my paranoia was getting the better of me, I sat down and started taking note of all of this. The thought being that if I could get it out of my system, I'll feel better. Though right now I'm sitting here and looking at what I've written, and I actually feel worse. I never thought I'd actually be publishing something like this. But here it is. Maybe I'm just crazy, but I guess that there's a chance that someone else could make better sense of this. I'll post again if anything changes.